Well, hey, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, everybody.
We're so thrilled to be here. It's our regular Sunday night, 7 o'clock. Words of wisdom, powerful message from my friend.
Dr. Michael Gross.
Oh, geez.
And guess who this is brought to you by? Healing the Holes in Your Soul.
And the spiritual primer.
And you know the nice thing about this book? You're not going to need band-aids or an operation. You're going to read this book, you're going to feel empowered, you're going to heal, and you're going to make decisions in your life that it's going to change you and your family. This is such a wonderful, powerful book. I'm not going to use the word awesome because that's overused. It's powerful, it's healing, and it will change your life. So, my suggestion is get it. Got it?
Oh, you're
All
so
right.
sweet.
We're having fun today, everyone.
You're so sweet. But start with this book, okay? Because this book is the spiritual primer written by this amazing Dr. Michael Gross. And he has his second edition coming out very, very soon. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. But start with this one if you can, because if you have your copy and you haven't read it, you're missing out. And definitely get his next one, okay? Because it's got even more jam-packed knowledge and wisdom in it. And on that note, the one thing I always say is if it wasn't for this book and this amazing man, that book wouldn't be out. And we have, if you look at it, they're kind of like books, bookends, right?
Yes.
They sit side by side. They should be. And because, we, a lot of things that I've learned from him, I share in there. So on
That's
that
thoughtful
note,
of you. All right.
on that note, we're putting the books down because I want you to have a couple minutes to get to know this incredible man.
Well, thank you.
I don't think I told him who I was. Did I? I'm to you now. I'm the author of the other book that he had. Okay, here we are. Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he has been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, spiritual counselor, and an incredible teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self-empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self-empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. He currently, wait. Oop, I lost my line. This is the only part I script. We script, okay? Everything else just comes in the way it does. And I lost my place because I looked up away from my script. But here we go. Okay. I'm going to go back a minute. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self-empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. Man, he's got so many skills. And these are just a few of them, okay? In concert with God, the true source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. He remains humble, knowing that the work he does all comes from God, the true source. He lives in Lakewood, Washington, and he is also the founder of an incredible 501c3 nonprofit, which I'm going to let you tell the people about.
It's the International Institute of Self-Empowerment, better known as TISE, TIISE, as we affectionately call it. And when the True Source said for me to start a nonprofit, I said, okay, someday I'll share the story, but amazing things happen. And I didn't know what it was for. And all of a sudden I meet this wonderful woman alongside of me. And I realized that it's going to have 12 arms. And the first arm is assisting abused women, children, and men. And I'm so thrilled that, she gave me the opportunity to work with her. She educated me. She taught me so much. And I realized how important it is to work with abused women, children, and men. And therefore, I'd ask her, she honored me by being director of the Division of Abused Women, Children, and Men. And so she's honored me in doing that. And we've been talking a long time about this for quite a while if you've been following us. And it's getting closer and closer. It's a monumental job, putting a lot of things to do together. We have our own life to take care of, but both Tia and I would say we're doing at least 50 or 60% of our time into TISE, and the other 40 to 50% in our own fields. So you'll be hearing more and more about it. And I'm going to encourage all of you to pay attention, to be aware, because when it comes out, you're going to be really excited to see all the things we'll be able to do and all the services. It's quite complex. But our major goal is to take abused women, children, and men, get them away from that situation, get them into a healing situation, and then also get them safe and have them have a vocation where they can be financially independent. And one of the things I just want to say is that, of course, history repeats itself. So most abusers have been abused. So if we break that cycle, the abusers will no longer exist. But enough about that. We're going to get into another subject. Do you want to add something?
We have our topic.
Yes.
Let's go into our topic.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and then we have a few little things that we want to share with you at the end. So hang tight because we'll put contact information in the chat below as well. But let's go ahead and start because Michael has selected an incredible topic today called
Healing and love. And
no, healing and energy.
Excuse me.
Well,
Healing
love
and
too.
energy. It is.
It's love too, right?
I'm a little 4 steps ahead of myself. So healing and energy, it's so important for us to talk about that. And I wanted you to all understand that we're all energy. And I've talked about this before. So your atoms, the particles, molecules, all kinds of energy within you, the soup mix. And we also, not only that, we're all energy. And they can measure your energy in electroencephalogram or other devices, which says you have electrical energy in your brain. Well, again, I want to lay the background and say, how energy affects us. And, you go to a party and you're really happy, you're joyous, and everybody's down and depressed. You get depressed. And you go to a party, I want to be here, I'm too tired. Everybody's up and you're excited and you're happy and you're bouncing around. We influence one another. But I wanted to talk about my research over the many, many years. As my book coach, I'll give him a plug, Patrick Snow, has said so much. He said, Michael, you've been around so long. How did it feel to vote for Abraham Lincoln? And I said it was no problem with George Washington. I wasn't sure of, but he ended up doing a good job. But I wanted to share this because my own personal research, not only family members, but others that I've worked with, that all illnesses cause an imbalance within the body. Well, of course we know that. All right. But how does that imbalance begin? How does it start? And the answer is very simple. It is some traumatic energy, some traumatic thought that comes into your mind, comes into your energy, comes into your body, and it begins to fester and slowly begins to fester. It's like, let's say it's like rust, when you get a little rust, you get a little air, you get more rust, and eventually the pipes fall apart. Or if you are starting a little fire and you're having trouble, you get these little tiny embers and you keep adding more twigs of wood and finally it bursts into a fire. That's exactly what happens. Whatever you experience in your life, and there are 2 types of experiences. I like to use the word love and anything that isn't of love. Or we can say anything that is positive or something that is negative. Whenever that energy comes into your body, it's stored somewhere in your body. So you're probably thinking, well, what do you mean, Michael? And my answer is, we talk about ulcers, okay? And ulcers are in the stomach, correct? And you burn a hole in the lining of your stomach. Well, it's because when we are upset, there are certain parts of our body that we turn around and store it in. Our back, our shoulders, our chests, even our reproductive areas, our thighs, our knees, our calves, our ankles. I mean, all over the place. We store it somewhere. And it just sits there. And it sits there. However, whatever the root cause is, it keeps repeating itself. Takes on different colors, but it's the same root cause. And again, what is the root cause? Lack of self-worth, lack of self-esteem, lack of self-love. And you've heard about me talking about that. But I wanted to address it because it's so important. Because my feeling is that long time ago, the true source came to me and said, you need to do a workshop called Cellular Release. I said, okay. And that is to remove all the anxiety, frustrations, hate, pain in our lives. Because sooner or later, it'll affect you and will come down with some kind of physical disorder. In making and working with many of the souls that I've worked with, we go to the root cause, and it was some kind of an emotion they didn't want to have, or they experienced and they were unhappy. And I remember I was sitting there with my wife at the time, and a neighbor came over, and she worked at one of the hospitals. I'm not going to name the hospital, but she said, I had this client, and she was the secretary for the doctor, and he had a heart transplant. Kept telling the doctor I had this vision of falling, and hurting myself. I don't understand. And so he decided to do research and found out the heart donor was a 21-year-old girl who was drunk going down the stairs, fell down and broke her neck. Now think about that. Now he has her heart. That whole energy of her experience was stored in her heart. Probably other parts of her body too, but at least we know her heart. And you can tell this story over and over again, kidneys or whatever transplants you've had. Every experience is stored in our body. And that's why we'll turn out to be all kinds of illnesses, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, Lou Gehrig's disease, MS, MD, all kinds of illnesses and diseases, even ones I haven't even mentioned. And I wanted to address this because I think it's important, whoever is watching this, it is time for it to be released and healed. Released and healed means remove it. Now, if we understand the body, our body is energy and it stores in that energy. Well, we are always comparing the past with the present. You know that example that I use. So if I said, let's go have a hot fudge sundae, yep, let's do it. And it's instantaneous. Or you might say no, but let's say you said, yep. And your answer was quick. I said, let's have a hot fudge sundae with sauerkraut, jalapeno peppers, ghost peppers, and some hot sauce. You tell me to go take a hike. And you should. But you see, when I mentioned that, you knew subconsciously how that would taste in your mouth, the burning sensation, maybe heartburn or whatever it may be. You knew that. What if you're encountering certain situations that were painful over and over and over again, even subconsciously, or you're observing it in someone else? How many times have we sat there and observed people in the airport or at dinners or at parties, and we watch relationships, because sometimes we people watch, and we say, yeah, I've been there, I've done that, instantaneously, whether it's positive or negative. Well, the important thing is in removing this energy from our cellular body, we want to keep the good stuff, the joy, the happiness, the Christmas presents, the birthday presents.
I want to keep the good stuff.
Yeah. The first kiss, your first love, things that, your first car, your first day in class or whatever. You want to keep those things. What you don't want to keep is all those emotions that are limiting. And that's what happens. So here you are. Let's say your average age of American is 40. Well, just pick a number. You know how many terabytes, I like that word, terabytes of information? I think there's a number higher than terabytes, but I don't know what it is. Billions and billions of bits of information are stored in your subconscious. It's there. And all of a sudden, button is pushed and it comes up out of the blue. You could be watching a funny comedy and all of a sudden you'll see something and remind you of something that was uncomfortable. So how do we move forward? What direction are we going in? And how do we remove living in the past? Because I said, we're always comparing the past with the present. Well, sometimes that's good. And you know how I bring up the example of Brussels sprouts. My wife loved Brussels sprouts. I hate them with a passion. One day I'm over at my friend's house, and of course he's making Brussels sprouts. He roasted them with bacon. And he said, oh, you got to try them, Michael. So I said, okay, to placate him. It was darn good. So it changed my opinion of Brussels sprouts. So I no longer dislike Brussels sprouts. Now, look how easy it was. I just had to take a taste, make a change in my thinking. I will be open to this. I probably won't like it, but I'm going to be open to it. And then all of a sudden you do that and it's delicious. And you just change. You change the way you think and feel. So now I'll eat fresh Brussels sprouts
With bacon,
with bacon.
wrapped in bacon.
No, just bacon over it, or just, maybe some Parmesan cheese or roasted with onions or whatever it is.
Oh,
But it will change its taste. The bottom line is that we have to be open and very flexible. And we have to realize where our inhibitions are, our blocks, our doubts, and our fears. And it's so important. Now, you're probably wondering, all right, now Michael's talking about this, and I do workshops, but I'd like to share a little bit how you can do it on your own. Okay. So I'm going to differentiate between the two things. When I do a workshop, I work with what I call God, the true source, the angels and guides. And with their energy and vibrations comes into every part of your body, and whatever is blocking negative comes out. Or you can do reverse engineering. And that is whatever that pain or emotion is, go back to the source of it, whatever created it, embrace it, and then ask the true source in your soul to heal and release it. Takes a little bit of patience. Going to take some time. Yes, you can do it on your own. Absolutely. The shortcut is when I do the workshop, and it's 2.5 days, 2.25 days. It's very intensive. It goes bang, 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 bang. Now, I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything. What I'm trying to sell you is you got to let go of those blocks and fears and doubts of your life. Lack of self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. It's so important for you to release that. Because why? You know that expression, God don't make no junk? Everybody heard that expression. Or if you haven't, you'd have now.
question.
Yeah.
A lot of people I know through the years that we've chatted say that they have skeletons in their closet, or they're dragging around baggage. They go from maybe one relationship to another, and they keep acknowledging that they have this baggage that they're taking from one place to another. So why do we do that? Why do we dwell so deeply in the stuff that is really not healthy for us to hang on to anyway?
Perfect question. Because we don't think we deserve any better. We have been put down, whether it's in relationships, family, friends, relatives, judged, and so on and so forth. And after a while, we begin to believe it. And then we think we don't deserve it. And then we get into another relationship. We attract those similar situations that were painful over and over and over again.
You know why?
Why? You know why?
Well, I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
I don't know exactly why, but we accept those because they're comfortable. That's what we know. And so if one relationship that's toxic or whatever, we get rid of one, but we're more comfortable in another one like that because that's what we know. That's not necessarily the right choice, but that's what we know. Right?
Exactly. And not only does it feel comfortable, but what happens is subconsciously, energetically, we keep drawing those people into our life over and over again. Either we're comfortable or we don't think we don't deserve any better. And think about this. God don't make no junk, as they say. And you were created out of love, by love, from love, and with love, because you see that's the only energy that never, ever stops existing, can never be destroyed, never be taken away. If we understand that, anything that is loving is positive. So why would we allow ourselves to be in those abusive relationships, which we just mentioned about we don't feel we don't deserve any better, or it feels comfortable? So many women I've worked with, and they say, I want a loving, caring man. I said, okay. And then I'll help them, manifest one and help change them. And they go back, oh, they, they smothered me. I don't like that. I don't like being smothered. I don't like all these gifts. My answer is why? You're used to abusive, being beaten and pushing around. Is that what you think you deserve? You just said to me you want a loving, caring relationship. And here's a man or a woman, depends upon the situation, is loving and caring and treats you well and honors you, and you don't feel good about it because you don't feel comfortable and you don't think you deserve it. So now the whole process is you have to change your mindset. So not only do you have to release all these fears, doubt, lack of self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem, but now you have to accept that you now can change your life. And what do you truly deserve? So those of you who are listening to me, write down what you believe you deserve in your life. Write it down and read it every day. Just read it. And look what happened. You'll think things change. One of the things I really recommend is that when you write down all the things you deserve at night or in the morning, look in the mirror and say, I deserve, and whatever one, a laundry list, doesn't make a difference. And you end this or something greater. That's what you ended up with. Well, why would you do it in the mirror? Well, anything that has a reflection comes back to you tenfold. And I'm not sure in the Greek fables, but I forgot who it was, but he saw Medusa who had the head of the snakes, and her stare would turn you into stone. And I remember when she was staring at him, he took his shield, it was a mirror inside, and held it up to her. And of course, that stare bounced off and she turned into stone. Well, that's mythology. Nevertheless, there's wisdom in it. Because everything, every fable, every story you hear, whether it's positive or negative, there's wisdom. And you are at a precipice in your life. I don't care if you're watching this as 8, 9 years old, or you're 90 years old, or anywhere in between. We're coming to a time in our life, all of us, where we have to make a decision. There's a major energy lineup of planets where we have 7 months to make a decision whether we want to become spiritual or we want to remain stuck. It's your choice. It always has been your choice. There are no victims. I hear, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. No, you're not. You put yourself in that position to be a victim. You can't change. And they go, I can't. And I go, you don't want to, you don't want to, you don't want to, you don't want to. So now each one of us who are watching this podcast, you have the major chance to change your life, to empower you, because that's what God, the true source, wants for you. Love, joy, and happiness. That's it. There's no deity that's going, you're going to be punished or this or that. Big thumb on you. Doesn't work. No. You have free will and free choice. So I want each one of you, when you write down what you deserve, to realize this is a process of healing. But more importantly, you desire, you wish, you hope, you are. That's the positive word. You are now releasing all those megabytes, terabytes of all these fears and doubts and blocks in your life. How it works for me, when I have something I feel insecure or unsure of, it hits me between the eyes over and over again till I finally release it. So I wanted to share that with all of you. That remember, in the process of energy and healing, you're in charge of your life, and begin to change your way, to change your thinking. And you'll notice your life will become more joyous and happy. I see TU is leaning over, giving me a little high sign that our time's almost over with. We'll talk about this more next week. TU, go ahead. Why don't you share?
I had one thing to share.
Sure.
May I talk about the?
Absolutely.
Okay. Michael and I kind of convinced him that I needed a cellular release because he's talked about this before, and we did this about a year ago. And my experience is phenomenal because everything that happened, releasing all that stuff, I had no idea what I had asked him to do. I really didn't. And that experience, it was like when everything was over, it was like the weight of the world had come off my shoulders. And I started realizing that, wow, now I'm beginning a brand new phase, I guess, a brand new stage in life because I'm looking at things differently. I have a lot more patience. I'm a lot more loving. And more than anything, I also realize that, you know what? Healing really does start right here. You have to learn how to love yourself because we're the ones that, I saw this thing the other day where I didn't want to ever be bullied, even though I was bullied. But I saw a thing the other day on social media where I was bullying myself. And that's not the way we should, when you're talking about changing mindset, we need to start by changing our mindset and how we can feel and grow in a more positive, loving way. And this cellular release unloaded a lot of the negative things that had happened in my life. And man, I think I'm at like 50 pounds lighter. I don't know. But I know I feel better. And I finally realized that there's a connection that I've made with the me in here that was always hiding and trying to stay in the comfort zone. Well, the comfort zone isn't comfortable. Really, it's just because I was too afraid to move forward. So I kept hanging in the comfort zone. And, fear is one of those negative things that we don't need to hold on to.
Nope.
Right?
You're absolutely right.
So thank you for letting me share, Mike.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
And on that note, yes, definitely. We'll talk more about this next week. But I definitely encourage everybody to connect with Michael and find out more about his cellular release because that was the best choice I've ever made in my life. Next to the fact that I called him and got the book and started this football rolling.
Thank you.
Okay. On that note, we have a few other things we want to share. Shall we just go ahead and talk about what I just mentioned today?
Sure.
Okay. As you know, Michael is a professional keynote speaker, and I'm a speaker as well. And we would be happy to come and speak with any groups together or individually to talk about other things that we can do to help everybody else become more self-empowered. How about that one?
Exactly. I mean, that's what we're here for. I don't like sales pitches. That gets turned off. And I look at the work as TU and I do, not as a business. I really get upset when my peers say, well, my business. No, not a business. We're in service. We're here to help you. We're here to help you grow. We come from the heart. And when you meet and talk to us, you'll understand that we really come from the heart. But the challenge is, how do we get the word out? How do we educate you that, you have many different paths in life that can bring you healing and love and joy and happiness? That's truly what we're all about, to create that love and joy and happiness. But more importantly, as we plant the seed within you, as you learn, as the seeds have been planted in us, you will change your life, and you change your spouse's life, and your children, and your children's children, and your children's children, so on and so forth, all the way down the line for many generations. That's what we are all about, healing you and helping you become more empowered and to do your dreams and missions and goals, which are much more than just plain old materiality. It always behooves me where people will spend endless amount of monies on vacation, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and then come home and then get depressed because they have that emotional letdown. Then they need another one, and they need another one. And it's like one fix after another, but they never find that peace and happiness. This is what we're all about, helping you self-discover your own love and joy and happiness, self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. We can talk to you later about that. But
Absolutely. It's when we share unconditional love with other people and you see the ripples start to happen in the community and how people reach out, especially, what's going on right now. I just have to say this, what's going on with Hurricane Ian and, that ripple effect that happened a few days ago, that's going to happen for a long time. And it's where communities and friends and family are going to come together. Why do we have to have a crisis to come together? Why are we not being more loving, I'm just going to say this. Why are we not being more loving and patient and giving with everyone each day of the year? That's where that's where my heart is. I've always wanted to help people. And on that note, we did talk a little bit longer, but I should probably get to the phone number.
Sure.
So, we get talking about something we're passionate about, we lose track of time, and it is your Sunday night. So, Michael, why don't you tell everybody what you do on Tuesdays?
Well, thank you. Every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, to around 7:30, 7:40 Pacific time, what is called Words of Wisdom, and you ask any kind of question you so desire on a spiritual nature. It doesn't have to be totally spiritual, and I try to do my best to answer it. Then I deliver a 10-minute message, sometimes 12, and I think I'm up to about 255. And one of the ways in which you can access and join us, see, there's a special, wonderful thing that happens on Tuesday evenings. It's all of us gathering who have seeking more knowledge, empowerment, and seeking a lot of love. And the information I share with you is channeled from God, the true source. And so that means that energy is with us and touching us in our souls. I know, because I wouldn't be able to do all the things I do without God, the true source. And I see myself just as a conduit of it. So in order to access this, would you please give us the number?
Absolutely. The call-in number at 6:30 is 202-926-1059, and
The access code is 125-446-pound. I have fun at this, as you know.
He loves this part.
Yes.
Okay, one more time. That number is 202-926-1059.
And the access code is 125-446-pound.
It's also in the comments below if you don't have a chance to write it down. And we don't ever take our Facebook Lives down, so the number will always be there as well. So the recordings that he mentioned are also at this number, 434-300-4170.
And the access code is the same, 125-446-pound. And it's what I call the playbacks. And you know what? It starts with number 3 to 255. And whatever number you pick, it's the right one for you. How do I know? People call me up and say, I did number 27. I don't know what it was, Michael, but it's just what I needed to hear. And you will automatically do the same.
So I'm going to give you that number one more time, and it's 24/7. So if you're stuck in traffic, it's like a 10-15 minute call in. It's always a perfect time to listen. Okay. It's 434-300-4170.
And the access code is 125-446-pound.
And one more thing, you do this every second Saturday.
And every second Saturday of the month, I do what I call a mass consciousness healing. And again, that starts at 9:55 a.m. Pacific time, and it goes to 11:01 Pacific time. We're pretty much 99.5% right on the time. And so the first few minutes, we talk anything that comes up. We talk about first 3 to 5 minutes, maybe a little less, and then we go into silence. And a few minutes before, I come back on to make sure you're grounded in your body. And I would like invite your friends to join us. Mass consciousness healing. We need the healing on this planet. Mother Earth needs the healing. The animal, mineral, vegetable kingdom needs the healing. It is so important. And it's non-denominational. More importantly, it will touch your heart and soul. How do I know? Because people call and tell me. That's how I know. It's nothing I'm predicting. I am relating information that they tell me. So I ask all of you to share, because if you look at our world right now, we need a lot of mass consciousness healing at all levels. So join us. And the telephone number is?
Well, join us as we create a ripple of love around the world by dialing in to 202-926-1059.
And the access code is 125-446-pound. And it's the same as the Tuesday night call-in telephone number. It's identical.
So we're good, right?
We're good. So on that thought, as we're winding down, so to speak, this is brought to you by
The spiritual primer I beat you.
Healing the Holes in the Soul. She beat me this time.
I
We have a
was-
little competition, as some of you have been watching us. You know, we have fun doing this, and we have fun because we know we're going to be helping a lot of people, and that you're important. Don't ever think you're not important. You are important, because without you listening, without you sharing, without you spreading the love, nothing will happen.
That's
And-
right.
And remember, you were created out of love, by love, from love, and with love. And again, I recommend that you pick up this book, read it, save it, and share it, Healing the Holes in Your Soul.
Because everybody matters. Everybody matters, right, Michael?
Absolutely.
And what do you say right about now?
And
put the
you
books
are-
down.
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely.
You have a great week. Bless you. Namaste.
Namaste.
We love you.
Thank you for coming.
Have fun today.
Share,
Have a good week. Have a wonderful week.
share this with your friends.
Yes. Thank you.